Hi, it's Alaska Granny. As preppers, we know emergencies happen to all of us, and there are things we will have to overcome. You've probably faced emergencies in the past. You've had struggles, and you had to figure out how to get through it, how to make it better, and then you can look back and say, okay, that made me stronger. I'm glad it's over. Let's think of some of the strategies that can help us recover faster from an emergency. Emergencies can be anything from a weather event, a natural disaster, and if you just look in the news, you can let your imagination run wild of some of the things that we might need to worry about. But it doesn't have to be a worldwide event. It doesn't even have to be nationwide. It could just be within yourself or your family that you have a struggle and you need to be able to figure out what to do. Number one, have an emergency fund. Money can smooth out all types of emergency situations. Money can pay for food, it can pay for gasoline, it can pay for a hotel room if you need to evacuate from your home. Money can help you get needed medicine, it can pay for car repairs, it can pay for, say, plumbing or emergency repairs you need on your home. There are all kinds of things that can go wrong that money can smooth that problem. If you're in debt, get out of debt, and at the same time, pinch your pennies, save some cash, have some cash on hand, and make it small bills, 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s. Then remember that cash is for emergencies. My parents used to say to me, if you can wear it or eat it, it's not an emergency. So yeah, because we always had enough food around, you always have something to wear. So that was something that I grew up learning, and it's a good thing to remember. Strategy number two, check your insurance. You want to make sure that you have ample amounts of insurance. You want to make sure that you're not overpaying. The price of insurance has just been skyrocketing recently, and if you have the opportunity, look around, get some quotes, see if you could save money on your insurance, but also make sure that you have the proper amount of insurance. Homes have gone up in value in a lot of places, so you want to make sure that you are adequately covered in case there is some type of hazard that happens to your home. Don't forget your car insurance, and if you have something like boats and trailers, make sure that you have the proper insurance coverage for those kind of vehicles. You want to make sure that you're protected with liability insurance in case there is some catastrophic or unfortunate happenstance. Think about how much are the deductibles, how much can you afford, and if you can set aside that amount of deductible as part of your emergency fund, it can even help you then lower your insurance rate. If you can cover the deductible expense yourself, then you haven't created an emergency by not having enough cash should you need to pay that deductible. So sometimes we hear, oh, you should have $1,000 or $500 or $3,000. But one of the ways that I decide if I have enough is, do I have the deductible for any of my insurances that I could pay that amount if I needed to? Number three, think about your important documents. If you had to leave your home, maybe you want to get some kind of a document folder that you can keep all of your important documents in here. You want to make sure you have copies of things such as your driver's license, your passport, birth certificates, social security cards, insurance cards. Have a written copy of all of your important contact information from your friends, family, neighbors, to your employer, your child's school and daycare workers, all of the important numbers that you would want if something happened, say that your phone didn't work or you couldn't access the information on your phone. Do you have a written copy? And that can be critical in an emergency situation. Number four, inventory your valuables. Even take a video, walk around your house and take a picture of all of the things in your home. You have no idea how complicated it can be if your home is a total loss, that you have to document every single thing in your home. That was a struggle that I had when my son's house burned down, and I think it's 2021. It was a total loss. The house caught on fire, he escaped with himself and his dog and his work computer, and that is it. Everything else was wiped out and gone. We spent weeks trying to go through every single thing in the home and try to remember, what did you have in the kitchen? What did you have in the bathroom? We could look back through things like Amazon orders and receipts that he had that were still in his computer, and that helped tremendously. But if you look back at the things you've had for a long, long time, you have maybe shelves and shelves of books, and they will just be vanished, gone. You'll never be compensated for that amount unless you can go through and list the title of the book, how much you probably paid for it, how much it costs now, what kind of condition was it in. It was unbelievable, the spreadsheets we had to fill out so that he could be reimbursed and compensated for every knife, fork, spoon, plate, everything that was in his home. Every article of clothing, how many pairs of socks and underwear do you have? It's really unbelievable when you think about how many things we have and how difficult it would actually be to have to actually write all of that down. If you have a large family, it could be completely overwhelming. But if you can at least go through and look through your video, and then you can show what is the furnishings that you have, how full was your closet, how many games did you have in your toy box. Do you get the idea of that's how we have that information? We don't have to sit down and list it all today, but if we have a reference that we can look, should we need to, we can then be reimbursed for that insurance that we're paying for. If you can't remember, it doesn't help you, it helps the insurance, because then your claim will be less. Number 5, you don't have to be an old person to need a health care directive, a power of attorney, and a will. If something happens to you, don't throw your family into chaos that you don't know. What did you have? Where could it be? Did you have a bank account? Do you own this house? How many cars do you actually have? The property and the bank accounts, things that are so stressful when you lose someone. Don't make an extra burden on your family by them not knowing. Maybe you had a safety deposit box that you opened 30 years ago and no one knew about. You want to make sure that you keep track of those things, you keep it together, and then share it with the people in your family that you trust the most that would want to know that information. Everybody should have that healthcare directive. You never know when you might be in a terrible accident and you are incapacitated, and you want to make sure that your wishes for what could happen to you are being fulfilled. Nobody likes to think about gloom and doom, but things happen. And as preppers, if we think about how can we recover faster from the events that could challenge us, then we're going to be way ahead with keeping our life as smooth as possible, with making the best of each day that we have. And boy, who wouldn't want to recover faster from an emergency situation? I know I would. Let us know in the comments below, what are some other tips and tricks you have to help us recover faster from emergencies. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone you think might find it useful, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.